What's up, guys? So when I left you last, there was a small bug in the auction form, so we're going to work with that right now. So when I try submitting a form, notice how it has the fields from a previous form there. It should be clearing every time. Now Redux form, which is what we're using for this, should automatically do that for us. So I'm really surprised that the values are here, and notice how right here select date is fine, so I'm not sure what's going on here. It should automatically reset those values for us. Whenever the component is unmounted, which we can check with component will unmount to make sure it actually is getting unmounted, it should reset for us. Redux form does that for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to add this method to our form, print it out, and see if it actually is unmounting like it should be. But notice how we have a pure function here for the auction class, and we actually can't make it a unpure function because for whatever reason I cannot get a non-pure Redux form to render, so I basically have to wrap it with something. So we have this here. I am going to switch this out, and I'm actually curious, I just had a thought and what the problem could be. But before we continue, I'm curious if there's a value field. So React Native text input. So okay, so what I'm thinking is the input field here, it should be getting the value of it should be set with value, and actually just kidding, rest of input should do that. Okay, never mind. I was thinking I forgot to set the value field here with value, and that was the reason why, but rest input should add that for us. So that's not it. So back to the next thing. So this auction form, I'm basically going to create a new route here, which is a copy of this. Copy, paste. This is going to be auction form page. Or we should say scene. I guess we should say wrapper. I don't know what the best thing. I guess we'll just call it page. So in our index here, oh, not this one. We're not dealing with this guy right now. We don't need any of that. Okay, so in the index of our routes, we'll call this auction form page, auction form page, auction form page, auction form page. So everything is auction form page now. We're going to be grabbing this, and also I think in our I think we had in one of our sagas. Nope, not in our sagas. It was the button here. Here we go. Auction form page. Okay. So now I want to move the auction form itself into just a component, pure component, because this is a pure component. Move it up here. So I'm going to not rename it, create a new file called, I'm actually just going to move you up here and rename you auction form. And now auction form basically going to be the exact same thing. Oh, and this path changes because now it's in the same folder as date picker. It's going to be the exact same thing, but it's not going to have a container or content. I'm just going to have form. Alright, so no container, no content. Okay. And then basically this guy right here, and we don't need that. So our auction form page, now it doesn't need any of this. All he needs is the date picker, or not the date picker. He just needs the auction form, and he just needs to go up to go into components and get the auction form. And now he doesn't need any of these fields because all he's dealing with is this. Yeah, we can just actually delete all of that. Okay, so we're going to export default. We're going to create a class here called auction form page, which extends react.component, and it's going to render. And here we're going to have a container, and we're going to have content, and then inside of content we're just going to have our auction form, and the only thing we need to pass in here is there's one prop, what it was called, request, right here, request create auction, request create auction, which we're getting from this .props .request create auction. Okay, so we're getting this create auction from the props, from this index right here, which we're grabbing, passing it here, and we just need to pass it to our function there. And it's just telling us this should be pure, which it should be, but we just need to add component will unmount console.log unmounted auction form page. Expected this to be used by class method component will unmount. Okay, not sure what that's about. So clear that and let's log React native log iOS. Alright, so now we can refresh. No errors so far. Open up the form. Let's auction off a cat. Select the date. Confirm. Submit. Okay. Now let's see if unmount was called. Alright, and that looks like it's the problem. Did I spell this wrong? Yeah, I did. Shoot. Should be component will unmount. Alright, my bad guys. Just misspelled it. It is a lowercase m. Refresh. Now we can auction off another cat. This one will only sell for $1. You know what? Yeah. So it's actually for $93 and that many cents. Okay. Now let's see if that's unmounted. And it's not. Okay, so for whatever reason, I guess we're changing pages using the actions, and I guess that does not unmount the component. So that is not clearing. So it clears when it's unmounting, so it's not unmounting, so it's not clearing. So the way we can go about doing this is with the reset. So this is an action here. So there's some action creators that Redux form gives us. We can basically manually reset the form using this. Right. So it's kind of a lot of pain to go switch this back to a pure function because we really need it just as a pure function. I mean, I'll go ahead and turn it back to this at least. So we're going to keep this as a pure function now because we know that was not the thing that was messing it up. Basically, we have this extra raptor for auction form page. I think that's fine. And now how we're going to reset the form is by actually doing it in one of our sagas. So it's going to be in our auction saga. So when we create an auction, we know after that we're going to move to the view auctions page, and we know we're done with the form. So right here is actually where we'd like to reset. So we really like to do yield put reset and then auction form. And I'm thinking that should reset it for us. And then we just need to import reset from redux form. Alright. Now we can give that a try. So now we, oops. And the problem is I made this a pure function and I just forgot to get rid of this. Oops. So instead of doing this.props, the props are passed in as a function here, or as a parameter here, so we can just grab what we need from that like that. Okay. Now this will be, let's do just a water bottle. We'll auction off a water bottle. This will be water bottle 1. Sell it for $10.50. Do this on Friday. Submit. So notice how we moved back over here. Okay. Now hit the plus. Interesting. It's still there. So reset did not work. Alright, so this is going to require some more detective work then. I was expecting it just the reset to work. So let's go into the auction form and actually see what is going on here. So basically the value of input is being set. So value is equal to value. So what I'm going to do is I want to do some console logging to figure out what's going on. Console.log value. I did spell the name right? Create auction. Alright guys, back up. So I thought I had just, crazy things were happening, but notice how I named my form create auction. Notice in my saga here I'm resetting this thing, which is not create auction. The names do need to match up. That was our problem. Alright. Now I was assuming that was going to work. Well, let's see if that was the thing that was just causing it. Yep, and that was it. Alright, cool. So my suspicion was right. So we just had to reset it ourselves because it was not being reset, because the component was not being unmounted. And usually when you switch pages it is unmounted, but I'm guessing just the way that React Router Flux works, it was not being unmounted. So alright, cool. So we fixed that bug. We're now able to clear this. That's it for this video. In the next one we'll be adding a button right here that'll let us go back to the page in case we no longer want to fill out a form. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.